Hi and welcome back to So Why Wait. If you're new here, my name is Dana, and in this channel we talk about life as a Gen Z and what I wish someone has told me when I was younger. Today's video is going to be a continuation of our series that we started last week, which is French, Friends and Friendships. And this video is going to be about the factors that would make someone a friend. We're going to cover about 7 to 8 points. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, as a foundation of friendship, what does it really take from someone to be called a friend? First thing that could come into mind is definitely mutual respect, which is the base of everything. Oh, I totally get it. Yeah, of course. Like you want a friend, you don't want them to be very very serious. You don't want them to be like always by the book. You want to have some sort of conversations with them where it is not always um, kind of corporate like. You with your friend, you will be speaking. Eh, eh. So I get that, and it's not what I mean by being respectful. So إذا في شوية مسبات بيناتكم مش هالأزمة يعني بالعكس بدكم ترتاحوا مع بعضكم. But what I mean by respect is, and being mutual, is the fact that you will always, despite the fun that you'll have with each other and the conversations that you will have, there is some sort of seriousness that would be involved in a friendship where you will be talking about deep conversations or something like that. And in such a place or in such settings or these things, even without the friend being with you at all times, this kind of respect between you two, the way you talk about each other when the other is not there or when you're with each other with other friends or other people, this matters a lot. So, our second point would be communication. Of course, you've heard so many times that communication is key. But what do we mean by it when it comes to a friendship? It is not about texting 24/7 or having a video call with your friend or a normal call for a few hours in a day. So, growing up, you will have a lot of situations where you would be put with your friend in tough spots. So, for example, when you meet a person who becomes your friend at school, you'd expect that this is the way it is going to be your entire life. It would be if there was work on this um, from both people, but at some points there are things that needs to be communicated between you and your friends to be able to figure out how to keep that friendship going despite the fact that life is changing and you will not always be in the same place in your life. So many times you will be talking about something with your friend that might not be very okay, but you laugh it off and you move on because you know where that comes from. So as much as it is not being always able to talk to your friend, but that time that you need your friend to talk to them being there, this is what will count. Moving forward to our third point, which is going to be trust, which is the real glue of a friendship. And I'm going to add something to it, which is no judgment. So when you are having a conversation with your friend, trust is a very important thing to have. It is what is going to determine what you're going to discuss with your friend, how you're going to act around them. So, for example, let's differentiate between two situations. You have option A, which is a friend that you could be able to trust. You know that they are not a judgmental person and they could listen to you, versus a second person whom you be able somehow trust in some things, not in everything, and you have some cautious behavior around them because you think that if some of your natural behavior comes out in front of them, they will act a bit differently or they will not accept it the way you'd think they will. So with those option A and option B kind of people, you would be more leaning into going to that option A, to that person who would understand you and not judge you, because at some times in our lives, many times if we're going to be honest, you will be put in situations or you will be faced with challenges that you don't need someone to advise you. You don't need someone to lead you like on the correct way or whatever it may be. You only need someone who could listen to you without that fear of maybe they would expose me in some way, maybe they would think about me badly, maybe. So every maybe there is this kind of a deteriorating factor for a friend that you might have. So when you have that person that you can full-heartedly trust, and it takes time, I'm not saying it doesn't take time, also coming from me, I take a very long time to trust someone, but once you reach that level of knowing that this person is going to be uh, someone who you can lean on in conversations, just to listen to you without judging, and maybe that's all you need. So once, because these are so important, if they are once broken, it is extremely hard to redeem what was there in that friendship. In my opinion, it is one of the very, very, very important factors in the entire list, that once it is kind of shaken, it is very hard to get back to what it once was. Our fourth point will be sharing interests and being real, not just vibes. So I'm not talking about sharing interests in an aspect of, for example, liking the same genre of music, or liking the same, um, I don't know, games, series, whatsoever. It is nice to have those in common, if they ever occur, when you would be able to have another thing to talk about, as if you don't have anything to talk with your friend. But what I mean by being real is, for example, um, those conversations that you share with your friend that goes deeper than the surface level. And it doesn't have to be always like that. Of course, you need sometimes to be bubbly, to be funny, to enjoy your time together without always having to talk about heartfelt conversations and the like. So the friend that, for example, is willing to be able to talk with you or listen to you for hours when you're talking about something deep, once in a while or twice in a while, or whenever you think that you might need it, goes a long way. When you're done with that conversation, you feel that you're lighter, both people, the one who shared and the one who was listening, because it is kind of what brings you two together more than just sharing fun moments. So, shared interests, they could be kind of an icebreaker at the beginning, where you both, for example, know what to do to spend some time together. That would go a long way if these interests are something that you actually care about, and they make a portion of your personality. So once you meet someone, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you share different interests, that you wouldn't be able to talk to each other or find a basis on which you can have a friendship. But it takes a stronger communication to reach that point. Support through the good and the bad, not just being there for the wins, to celebrate the wins. And this is a very, very, very important thing to highlight. Many of us have had situations where we had something to celebrate, and we see all the friends there to be able to have a fun party or whatsoever. But it is not always the same when you are in a situation where you feel down or you have a problem or something, you feel that the number of friends whom you can trust or let in on your problems are less and less. And this is not because you don't trust them enough, but because you tried to reach out to them and they didn't quite um, ملبوا النداء. ما بعرف كيف يعني they weren't there when you actually reached out to them. ملبوا النداء. Anyway, so in this thing, you would need to separate between just a supportive friend, someone who is there for you even if they don't have all the answers. And honestly, us growing up, we are all trying to figure ourselves out, we're trying to figure life out, so we don't necessarily always have the solutions or the best way forward. But what we can do is at least be there for that person, let them know that they are not alone. And this is all they need. This is all they need to get stronger again, to do whatever they need to do to get out of the problem they're in. It is kind of separating also from a casual friend who would be just there for occasions or when you see them once in a very long time and it is not anywhere to have a deep conversation with them. It's just a person that you know, you see in multiple places that you go, and you talk sometimes, but it is not that deep. Having a friend, as much as they are important in the bad times, it is also equally important to have fun and enjoy your time with them. So that sense of humor that you have, if for me personally, if I'm not sarcastic with a friend, I'm not that comfortable with that friend. So sometimes laughter is very needed, and it is closer to us than having something to worry about or a problem to solve. Being that flexible of a person to be able to enjoy something with your friends and be humorous, be funny if you can. This would actually make your outings together much more energizing and fulfilling. Uh, it doesn't have to always be serious. It shouldn't always be serious. There should always be that sort of flexibility where you might be talking about something so serious, let's say on WhatsApp, and then they're still sending you memes or reels on TikTok or Insta. Um, there is something about different apps, different moods. It's real, and we can vibe with each. We can go follow the flow with both, and that person will be able to receive much more reassurance from us that we're there through this and that. And this would lead us to our seventh point, which is going to be something that we need to avoid. It's not kind of a factor that you need to find in a friend, it's something that you need to avoid. So, a jealous friend. I know that jealousy in any sort of relationships is kind of needed in a very understandable ratio. However, when it becomes something that is kind of suffocating from a friend who is supposed to be there to um, and means well to you, um, it kind of gets in the way. When someone is jealous of the way you are, the way you look, the way that you move, the way that people treat you, it is so hard to be a friend with a person who doesn't feel that doesn't mean well to you, because this is going to be a problem later on, and it is not a problem right when it starts, because you wouldn't feel like it is going to be a root of something bigger, but it is something that spreads. So it starts in something very minor and then keeps on going into like growing larger and larger until it becomes way too suffocating. So If this is something that comes from a friend of yours, you need to be careful about that. Um, how you resolve that with your friend is up to you regarding how important of a friendship that is for you. But it's very important to know that you would need people who actually value you around you, not those who are jealous of you and wants to put you down. This brings us to our last point for today's video, which is growth together and evolving as people, which is super important because you would never be in the same place your entire life. You might meet your friends at school, you might meet them in university, at work, and social gatherings, and you will never be the same person the other day. You're always on the move, you're always changing, you're always following whatever you want to achieve. So it is undeniable that you are going to have different situations than the ones that you were in when your friendship started. So, given that there is a lot of changes that is going to be within this friendship route or path, so it is very important for your friends around you and for you as well to be there for your friends while they are evolving, to be there for them when they do something that they think is a changing point in their life, when they do an achievement, when they might change their entire um, how do they say it, their life situations, and yet your friendship is unchangeable. It is only getting stronger, it is only getting better. You will meet your friends less if the situations changed. For example, if you meet them at school, you're seeing them every day. This would not be the case when you're going to university or after you graduate. So that communication will also come into place. But what is so fulfilling is when you meet again and you discuss what is going, like the latest updates in your life, if you're not constantly or frequently talking to them over the phone or um, other ways to contact your friend. But when you meet with them and you pick up from the time that you last sat down with each other and you share all the things that you've done, the things that are so drastically different now, and being there for them, supporting them through everything they've been going through, congratulating them on the success that they've done, the things that they've achieved. It is so fulfilling for all of the people involved that this group of friends, this circle, is only getting better, is only evolving, and being there for them to support them to becoming even more successful, so that you also, because it is also part, when you feel that you're surrounded by people who are being successful, you are also tempted to be the same and to be there for them. And if it is the other way around, where people are facing any type of difficulty or they are going through a hard time, you being there for them, listening to them, will go, will do wonders to them, like emotionally, and they will be able to kind of deal with their situation better because they know that they have their support system with them. So this would be the last thing I will be talking about today. Please let me know what you think and tag your friends, why not? Share it with them. Let me know what are other things that you'd like us to talk about. Drop them in the comments or reach out to me on TikTok or Instagram, and we will be able to move to do more videos about this series. If not next week, probably the one after or soon. And until then, have a great week, day, outing, travel, work, and I'll see you. Bye bye.